Good morning. Got up this morning and I got on Facebook, as I do every morning, because I got to catch up with my pages there and messages and all that good stuff. And there was a post from one of the groups. I think it was the camper van, Astro camper van group, which I think is also the only group that would require approval before posting what you tried to post. Which I always found annoying, right? Because if you get into a private group, you've already been let in the private group, what you post shouldn't need to be approved, right? And it was an interesting post because it was from the administrator of the group saying so-and-so had been excuse me, so-and-so had been suspended from the group because they made a comment, a certain comment. I guess the gist of it was that I gathered from reading the comments, I think he crapped all over somebody else's van, said it looked like a turd or something. And then somebody else made a comment like, well, you know, it kind of did look like a turd. And then that guy, the administrator, was like, well, enjoy your suspension too. All right, goodbye, man. I'll tell you what, the guy running that group has a career ahead of him in government. Left-wing politics for sure. Yeah, that's crazy, man. But I love it. It was a perfect excuse for me to get out of there. I don't want to be part of a group of people where people are telling other people what they can and can't say or think and that sort of thing, you know. If you're a jerk in life, like you're that much of a jerk, you don't need other people keeping you in and out. It's going to naturally settle. It's going to naturally, you're going to filter yourself in and out of certain circumstances and relationships with people, and you're going to end up living the life that you live because of it, right? You don't need to. It was just silly to me. It was some young person, you know, running that group. And I suspected that it was some young person running that group because of the way that they wanted to approve things first. That person running that group has a personality disorder, right? That's fascism, straight up. These people on the left, a lot of the times, they want to bring up fascism when in reality, they're the fascists. And I'm not an overtly political person. I encourage you to go back, if you're a viewer, regular viewer of this channel, whether you're just here for the Astro van stuff or when once in a while I do a bike video or something like that or tell a story, I encourage you to go back a year or 2 years when I was doing videos on subjects like this, because like some of those videos have 20 views or 40 views. You'd be doing me a favor. And I guarantee you'll get a chuckle out of them. Guaranteed, because I was doing that on purpose. Anyhow, the Astro van thing is just really, it's an interesting thing. And I find myself spending less and less time in the groups, in particular on Facebook. Just, yeah. Here's the thing with me. I make no apologies for it. I am who I am. I regularly get involved in certain things and certain groups and doing things with people. You're an idiot. Some guy practically naked, jacked, running across the street against the light. What are you doing? Anyhow, it's LA. Sorry. So I will leave. I've been a part of certain organizations. Even going back as far as the Marine Corps. You know, I figured a way to just say, fuck that, I'm done with these assholes. If I'm hanging out with a group of people and I'm having a good time, it's one of my favorite things to do, riding bikes, whatever. And there's a couple people that are around in that same group. If I don't like those people, it's never for no reason. I don't just look at somebody and go, I don't like them. They had to have acted a certain way, said a certain thing, you know, something that irks me to the point where I think I have these visions of like, man, I'd like to punch that guy in the mouth. Well, what I do then is I leave the entire group for the benefit of the group, not the benefit of me, because I don't want to be put in that situation where I have to hide who I am, kind of, or worst case scenario, actually get aggravated enough to the point where I do have to confront that person. And if that happens, you know, it could become a physical situation. And I like to avoid physical confrontations whenever possible, because I don't like having to hurt somebody. It's not my thing. But from time to time, somebody needs a crack in the head. We used to call it knocking sense into people. So to avoid that, especially in this day and age and the way things are going, I will just pull away. I'll just back away from the whole situation. Anyhow, back to the Astro van. That's how I feel in those groups. That's how I feel. So I was glad that that guy revealed himself to be the fascist that he is. Because I think I made one comment where I just said, woo, you know, another group I get to leave now. I don't want to participate in that. So that's that. The van's running good. There's no leak from the transfer case anymore since I got the new yoke put in down there in Temecula. Transmission and differential, great dudes. All that's good. I did a little preventive maintenance last week. I was just, sometimes I feel like this thing is a little, like right now it's telling me I'm getting 30 miles per gallon and I'm doing 40 miles an hour. 28, just depends, 22. So that's crazy. Running pretty good. As we know on the highway, once you get to speed, it's the same thing. It gives you really good MPGs with the 410 gears and the 32-inch tires. But I was having that sail, feeling like I was dragging a sail feeling, which is why I went with the Flowmaster and the new exhaust. Got the 32-inch tire in. That's why we had to move the exhaust over. You guys have been following along. And I didn't throw a code for it. I've not yet had a problem passing smog out here in California. But on the YouTube, on Astrovan stuff, when you look around for people who have these certain codes where they didn't pass smog, they try this thing that Scotty Kilmer did with the lacquer thinner. So you got a half tank of gas, approximately 10 gallons or so. You put a gallon of lacquer thinner in your tank. You do your driving and all that. And I was thinking, I did have one cat replaced, but the other one's been there. It's probably factory. And I figured it probably can't hurt that much to do that. So I did it just for the heck of it. I had about a half a tank of gas. I put the lacquer thinner in and ran it. Drove out to Pasadena and back. And I had been running other fuel system cleaners, and I thought, well, it's probably a good idea to change the oil. So I did. Brought it to Valvoline, and so here's a tip for you. I did not come up with this. It's something I probably read in one of those groups, or maybe the Astro Safari thing. But there's a bigger or taller oil filter that you can put on your Astro van. So a taller oil filter comes in handy if you're running a transmission cooler, but it's also going to give you more filtration, and you're able to put more oil, run more oil through your engine. I think that's all a good thing. So I'm going to get underneath the van here in a second, a few seconds, and show it to you. Drive back this sucker in here. Oh, that was a terrible park job. Another thing, by the way, I learned, which seems silly, but before you check your transmission level, start the vehicle, put your foot on the brake, and run through all the gears. So put it in reverse for a few seconds, neutral for a few seconds, drive, 3, 2, 1, because that's going to make the fluid. I checked my fluid and it seemed high. So when I went to the oil place to have it changed, they had me do that. I was like, dar. I didn't do that. Let me show you what I did here. The van is a mess. I've been working at it. But you see all, this is, first of all, this is the filter. Now, this is the Valvoline filter they put in because I went to the Valvoline joint, okay? All these dirty baby wipes right here is from my steering wheel mainly, and a little bit of the dash. So do yourselves a favor, clean your steering wheel pretty regularly, because that's where, I mean, think about it. You're touching your steering wheel, you're in and out, you're going places, and that's how you get sick, is transferring germs all around and then touching your face. All that good stuff. Let me show you the filter. I guess that means my keys are still in the ignition. There we go. So, taller filter. Gotta wipe the bottom of that. And that's pretty cool. So now you know that here's the no leaking. No more balancer on that yoke. You guys have seen all this before. Anyhow, that's it. This is mainly just a little fun video for you guys to let you know what's going on, and bash the social media groups again, because I just have a good time doing it. Oh, I will tell you this. So, of course, right now the whole van is on a downward slope because of the driveway, but I did crank the torsion keys because my rear end is higher than I had originally had it set now that I put the coilovers on, right? I had a thought, called Dave yesterday, talked to him about it, and the thought is this. I've got a 3-inch spacer on top of the factory, like 1-inch spacer, re-index torsion keys, crank that up. And you always have to think about your CV angles, right? So I'm thinking, why don't I just do something different with the body spacers? I haven't done the math yet, but just for the sake of the discussion, let's say it's 2 inches I want to go up. Because the idea is I like the height in the rear. And if you're going to go off-road, it is nice to have as much space between your fender well and your tire as possible, right? So your tires can move around. I want to get my front end up more. Instead of lowering the rear end, I want to lift the front end more. But I don't want to crank on the torsion keys. So what I'm thinking about doing is doing steel. Like, let's just say, like I said, these numbers are not accurate, but let's say I want to go up a total of 5 inches. I think I'd rather back out my torsion key bolts, screw them in a little bit, see where I'm sitting, and then get like a steel spacer, like a quarter, hey man, what's up? Get like a 1/4 inch thick, is what I'm thinking, tube steel, 2 inches tall, bolt that hard to the frame, and then put the 3-inch spacer on top of that. Let that work, and then do fine adjustment with the torsion key adjustment. That's what I'm thinking about doing. So, I know me, and when I think about it, it seems like a good idea. I eventually get there. Just like these flares are going to eventually happen on these back windows too. So that's it for now. Have a good day. I hope I don't come off as being too crazy. And look, if you don't like me, don't watch me. If you don't like this channel, if I say something that irks you, goodbye. It's okay. It's not. I'm not losing any sleep over it. Don't do what I'm doing. I'm not telling you to do anything I'm doing. I'm not telling you to agree with the things that I say. I've experienced a lot of weird stuff in my life. I know that a lot of you out there are the types of people that don't believe anything unless you've seen it or experienced it yourselves. Okay, I'm not going to judge you for that. But if I put things out there that's too weird for you, I don't care. I'm just being myself, who I always am all the time. John Lennon said, always be yourself. It might not get you a lot of friends, but it'll get you the right ones.